This is the story of how Rachel, drowning in a sea of self-help noise, stumbles upon an unexpected source of guidance that changes everything. The name of this story is Whispers of Guidance. Rachel sat hunched over her laptop, the glow of the screen casting a pale light on her tired eyes. The clock struck midnight, but sleep was elusive. She scrolled through her social media feed, flooded with glossy images of influencers preaching the latest self-improvement trends. Unlock your potential in 30 days. The ultimate morning routine. 5 habits of highly successful people. Each video promising transformation. Each thumbnail a mirror reflecting her perceived shortcomings. She paused on a video titled, "Reinvent Yourself Now," feeling a pang of guilt. I should watch this, she thought. Maybe this will be the one that will motivate me. But the weight of exhaustion and lingering doubt held her back. With a heavy sigh, she scrolled past, the familiar knot of anxiety tightening in her chest as she did. The next morning, Rachel dragged herself out of bed, the remnants of restless sleep clinging to her like a fog. As she sipped her coffee, her roommate, Jenna, bounced into the kitchen, earbuds in, radiating energy. "Morning! Have you tried that new productivity hack I sent you?" Jenna asked, enthusiastically. "Not yet," Rachel mumbled, forcing a weak smile. "I've been meaning to." Jenna looked at her sympathetically. "You okay? You seem a bit off lately." "I'm fine," Rachel lied, "just tired." In truth, Rachel felt trapped in a cycle of stagnation. The more self-improvement content she encountered, the more inadequate she felt for lacking the motivation to engage with it. It was as if everyone else had the manual for life while she was left flipping through blank pages. On her way to work, Rachel noticed a new billboard featuring a serene landscape with the words, "Find your path within," emblazoned across it. She wondered what that even meant. If only it were that simple, she mused. During her lunch break, instead of scrolling through her phone, Rachel decided to take a walk to a nearby park. The air was crisp and the trees were beginning to show the first hints of autumn. She found an empty bench and sat down, closing her eyes and taking a deep breath. The first deep breath she felt like she'd taken in weeks. "Mind if I share this bench?" an elderly woman asked, pulling Rachel from her thoughts. "Oh, not at all," Rachel replied, scooting over. The woman settled in, a peaceful smile on her face. "It's a beautiful day, isn't it?" "Yes, it is," Rachel agreed, noticing the warmth of the sun on her skin. They sat in comfortable silence for a few moments before the woman spoke again. "Sometimes it's nice to step away from the noise and just be present," she remarked. Rachel nodded, surprised by how much she agreed. "I guess I've been feeling overwhelmed by everything lately," Rachel replied. The woman glanced at her with understanding eyes. The world moves fast these days. So many voices telling us what we should be doing. It can drown out our own sometimes. "Exactly," Rachel said, a hint of relief in her voice. "I kept seeing all these self-help videos and articles. Instead of helping, they just make me feel worse." The woman chuckled softly. "I remember when I was your age. I felt the same way. Though back then it was books and radio shows. One day a mentor, though, told me something that changed everything. The answers you seek are already within you. Sometimes you just need to ask and listen." "What do you mean?" Rachel asked, intrigued. "Well, have you ever tried simply asking for guidance from the universe, a higher power, or whatever you believe in? And then being open to the answers as they come?" Rachel shook her head. "I wouldn't even know where to start." The woman smiled. Start by quieting the external noise. Spend time with yourself in nature, in silence. Ask what your next step should be and trust that you'll be shown the way in the right order at the right time. Before Rachel could respond, the woman stood up. Take care, dear. Remember, the path unfolds as it should. She walked away, leaving Rachel with a sense of calm she hadn't felt in a long time. That evening, instead of turning on the TV or reaching for her phone, Rachel lit a candle and sat cross-legged on the rug in her living room. She closed her eyes and took slow, deliberate breaths, feeling a bit self-conscious but hopeful. She silently asked, "What should I do next?" At first, her mind raced with random thoughts, but gradually they began to settle. A gentle idea surfaced. Go back to painting. She hadn't picked up a brush in years, not since college, when life became too busy and practicality took precedence over passion. The next day, Rachel dug out her old art supplies from the back of her closet. The familiar scent of oils and texture of the canvas awakened something inside her. She began to paint, losing track of time as colors and shapes flowed freely. Over the following weeks, Rachel made it a habit to spend time in quiet reflection, asking for guidance and paying attention to the subtle nudges she received. She started jogging in the mornings, not because a video told her to, but because her body craved movement. She reached out to an old friend who'd been there and also been on her mind, rekindling a cherished connection. One afternoon, Jenna noticed the change. "You've been glowing lately," she remarked. "What's your secret?" Rachel smiled thoughtfully. I stopped trying to follow everyone else's path and started listening to my own. Inspired by her experiences, Rachel began sharing her journey on a modest blog. She wrote about the power of tuning into one's inner wisdom and trusting the timing of life's unfolding. Her words resonated with many who felt similarly overwhelmed by external pressures. Months later, Rachel received an email from a reader thanking her for sharing her story. "You've helped me realize that it's okay to go at my own pace," it read. "I've started listening to myself more, and it's made all the difference." Rachel replied warmly, grateful for the connection. She reflected on how far she'd come from feeling lost and inadequate to embracing a path uniquely suited to her. Now, Rachel's journey illustrates the transformative power of turning inward for guidance. Overwhelmed by external expectations and the barrage of self-improvement content, she felt paralyzed and inadequate. By choosing to quiet the noise and ask the infinite intelligence, whether that's viewed as the universe, a higher power, or her own inner wisdom, for direction, she discovered that the answers were within her all along. Her story highlights that personal growth doesn't have to follow a prescribed path set by others. By trusting oneself and the natural order of life's unfolding, one can find a journey perfectly suited to their own needs and timing.